Operation Glendale is a collaborative approach between the police, Plymouth City Council and the treatment services to tackle the supply and use of Class A drugs in the Stonehouse area of Plymouth. Drug dealing and illegal drug use affects people's lives in many ways and can result in no-go areas in the eyes of local communities. When drug users become dependent on substances such as crack cocaine and heroin, they turn to crime in order to fund their habits, which in turn impacts on the quality of life in the community. Car crime, burglary and prostitution are all activities that addicts will engage in order to sustain funding for their drug addiction. We are listening and responding to the views of the community who are living with this problem. Operation Glendale is a Street Level Up initiative which was started in February 2008 in response to the local community identifying drug use and drug dealing as a priority which they wanted the police to tackle. The subject was identified via the PACT process. PACT stands for Partners and Communities Together and is the mechanism by which the Devon Cornwall Police, Plymouth City Council and other partners listen to their community's concerns and deal with the issues that matter to them.
So there was a very thorough, detailed profile and analysis of Stonehouse and in particular the drugs market that existed and the drugs harm in Stonehouse. We then developed our investigation tactics in consultation with a number of other organisations around what would lead us to really uncover the issues in Stonehouse.
Intelligence was gathered by undercover operations regarding the nature of the problem within the neighbourhood. After extensive detective investigations, sufficient evidence was gathered to enable drug warrants to be executed in several addresses in Stonehouse. During these raids, the neighbourhood policing teams displayed large signs outside the premises and handed out leaflets to passers-by. Drug dealers being arrested sends out a clear message that drug dealers are not welcome in Plymouth and helps to inform the residents of what the police are doing. The media too were invited along.
Major police operation has been taking place with a series of raids on the homes of suspected drug dealers. Tens of thousands of pounds worth of hard drugs have been seized and 9 people arrested in Operation Glendale.
The raids were the culmination of months of intelligence gathering and surveillance. 9 people were arrested on suspicion of supplying drugs.
Right. Hands out your pockets, okay?
The look of the house provides a hint what it's used for, as does a less than welcoming sign. Those living nearby were relieved to see the raids. Inside the house, it's chaotic. Half a dozen properties were raided in Operation Glendale and £30,000 worth of drugs seized, mostly heroin.
As you can see on the table here, we've got bag ends, which is, the bags that the drugs come in. We've got a used needle lying on the table there, a spoon which is being used to cook up the heroin. It's basically normal run-of-the-mill stuff what we find at these sort of addresses, really.
When this operation happens, we will have spaces available to get people into treatment, get their partners into treatment, or actually work with any children or families that need some kind of support.
We are able to work with our partners who are specialists and can help with health, social and financial problems.
The way that we've worked is really to have drugs workers and drug intervention programme workers available at the time of arrest. So we've had workers down with the police when raids have happened, been there to be able to talk to the family or talk to the drug user about what treatment options they've got available. We've also had workers based at the cells, both at the police cells and the magistrate cells, to talk to drug users about treatment options then and look at. We tend to find that there's a high time of motivation when somebody's just been arrested due to their drug use, so that's quite a good time to go in and talk to people about treatment.
Paul Martin works for Plymouth City Council.
Well, in this area of Plymouth, one of the biggest problems we've got is, as you probably know, sort of back streets of Stonehouse are traditionally associated with ladies of the night. For example, where we're walking now at the rear, which is an extension of East Street, to your left there was a verge that was very, very overgrown with buddleia bushes and other vegetation that users had cut several shooting galleries into. We cut back all the bushes along here, picked up all the needles. I think we picked up several thousand needles just along that stretch there. This was 12-foot high buddleia bushes and other vegetation. Literally what they'd done is they'd cut little spaces up through here into the back, and obviously these bushes probably came out 4 or 5 feet into the road here at the time. And they put a few tyres, some carpet on the floor. It was just somewhere they could go in, hide themselves away, do their drugs, and then of course they just chucked the needles, and there were burnt teaspoons, blackened tin foil.
Operation Glendale is about more than law enforcement and rehabilitation. It focuses on ensuring the public safety of the broader community in Stonehouse and reducing the harm posed by drugs and associated crime. 5 drugs and sex litter bins have been placed around the Stonehouse area. These bins provide an option for safe disposal and mean that there is less potentially dangerous debris on the streets of Stonehouse.
It is really important for the area, I think, because taking out those few people makes a big difference to the rest of the population living here. The residents have a very hard time living in this community sometimes. It's been deprived for a long time, and City Council and the police are working together very hard to try and improve the conditions and the lives of the people who live here.
Tim Barnett is a police community support officer who works the area. He regularly meets the residents and hears firsthand what they think and how they feel about their neighbourhood.
It's so quiet here now compared to what it used to be. In the old days you used to have kids running around throwing rocks and that, but none of that's happened.
There's the Stonehouse newsletter about your policing team.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On the back page as well, there's a useful information's contact.
Oh, I see, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think those are the same as you get on the warden's letters as well, just to emphasise if you've got any problems, you know, please call.
Traditionally we have just enforced and we've been quite successful with that. But actually there are many more opportunities to look at the wider social harm that's been caused by drugs by using the enforcement phase to bring in other agencies and other partners. We're now taking some time to pause and reflect on where we've been, look at what's worked well, and then see how we can move that forward, not just in Stonehouse but across the city and indeed across the force, across Devon Cornwall and Scilly.